What's going on, guys? It's JSGC here, and we are here for the number 4 loan report. It is the final loan report, so we'll be covering 6 more players in this loan report. So we're going to be covering Eliaquim Mangala, Marlos Moreno, Patrick Roberts, Ashley Smith-Brown, Bersant Celina, and Douglas Luiz. So we're going to get on with it in that order. So we'll start up first with Mangala. He joined Everton on loan until the end of the season in January. This was after Man City had just announced the arrival of Aymeric Laporte from Bilbao, so he's no longer needed. So he's gone on loan to Everton. He's played a couple of games for Everton, scored no goals before picking up quite a serious knee injury, and it means he's out now, unfortunately, till the end of the season, so he won't be making any more appearances for Everton, and they'll be rejoining Man City again, probably for pre-season, unless Man City decide to either loan him out again or sell him. He's a bit stuck in the middle, Mangala. Mangala, when he was called upon this season back in October, November, December time, when he came into the squad around other very good defenders and players playing well as a team, he didn't look out of place. He looked more confident and he looked better. He's not worth the £30+ million that Man City ended up paying for him, but he's still got signs of quality there. He's just very inconsistent, and unfortunately this loan hasn't worked out for him after him picking up the injury, but these things happen, so it's important to see how Mangala picks himself up. It'll be important to see what Man City do with Mangala next season. I really do not know. Next up is a strange one too, is Marlos Moreno. Now, if you remember back in the summer of 2016 when Pep just joined, he signed him for £5 million, signing for Man City. He's 21 years old now. He's a Colombian winger, and he went out on loan to Girona for the first half of the season. I don't know if it was on loan until the end of the season, but he's ended up doing the first half of the season there. He's picked up 2 appearances, scoring no goals for Girona, which isn't a very good loan spell for him, and in response Man City have ended up sending him to Flamengo instead in Brazil. He's on loan there. He's made no appearances, but that isn't due to him not being in and around the team. It's due to the fact that Brazil's football season doesn't actually start till April through till December, so he'll rejoin Man City again in January 2019. So we wish Marlos Moreno all the best of luck in his loan spell in Brazil, back in his home continent of South America. Next up is another player that struggled this season, is Patrick Roberts. After doing so well at Celtic last season, many people were wondering what are Man City going to do with Patrick Roberts. Are they going to sell him permanently, which is what I thought they would have done. Celtic weren't willing to pay the money. Instead, they waited and played the patient game, loaned him instead towards the end of the transfer window. Apparently, though, early on into his spell at loan at Celtic, he's picked up quite a serious knock, and it's taken him until this month / last month for him to actually recover from his injury. He's an England under-20 international. He is a winger. He's only small, but he is a good, neat, tricky player. He showed that last season whilst on loan at Celtic. He's made only 6 appearances in the league this season for Celtic. He has made 3 appearances in the Champions League for them too. So it'll be interesting to see how he finishes the season, because last season, if you remember, because Celtic knew they weren't having Patrick Roberts going permanently for them, and they didn't have him permanently, they had other permanent wingers. They ended up playing them rather than Patrick. So it's interesting to see how this season has faltered him. Has it affected him? Will he be able to pick himself up? And where will he end up next season? Again, it's a very difficult one. Is he going to have a third loan spell at Celtic? Are Man City going to sell him permanently? I really do not know. What do you think? Leave them in the comments below what you think of these loan transfers and where they'll end up next season. Now, another youngster that's gone out on loan, Ashley Smith-Brown. You may not be all familiar with him, because he's been brought up through the academy, but the left back, he joined Hearts in Scotland on loan until the end of the season. However, he's picked up an injury during the first half of the season. He's returned back to Man City. He's recovered from that, and Man City then loaned him out to Oxford United in League One until the end of the season. The 21-year-old ended up making 8 appearances for Oxford, scoring no goals, but he is getting more game time. So it'll be interesting for what Ashley Smith-Brown will end up next season. Again, will Man City sell him? Will they release him? Will they loan him out? Will they keep him for the EDS? I really do not know. So it'll be interesting to see where Ashley Smith-Brown ends up. Like I said in other loan reports, though, just because you're a youngster at Man City and things aren't going well, or you end up in the lower leagues, doesn't mean you're not going to be a success throughout the whole of your career. You just got to pick the parts up and build yourself back up. really is as simple as that. Just you need to find the right club for you, and unfortunately not everyone makes it at Man City, but there are an abundance of clubs in the UK and around Europe and around the world that will be interested in signing these world-class football players, and they'll be well suited to the leagues, and they'll end up being able to kick on their careers. And this fits perfectly for the next player, Bersant Celina, the Kosovo midfielder who ended up playing a load of under-21s and below for Norway, but joined Kosovo, who's born in the former Yugoslav. Actually, I'm not sure. I think he was born in Yugoslavia somewhere, which now doesn't exist. I presume it's Kosovo. I really do not know. But he joined Ipswich on loan at the end, until the end of the season, at the beginning of the season back in the summer, and he got off to an absolute flying start. He was doing an absolute business at Ipswich Town. He's made 30 appearances for them this season, scoring 7 goals, which is fantastic for him, and he's done really well. He's kind of faltered since January onwards, but still, all in all, a successful season for Bersant. So it'll be interesting to see what's next for him. Will he end up going out on loan somewhere else? He's obviously done well in the Championship, so you'd think maybe another Championship loan might be well suited to him. But he's been one of Man City's standout loan players this season. Him along with Angus Gunn have done very well in the Championship, and they've proved that they are more than good enough to be able to cope in the Championship. So these two players could become very good, at least Championship players, which is a very good standard. You've got to remember that the Championship is a very, very good, high-quality league. Whilst the football might not be pretty, the grit, determination, teamwork, and work ethic is second to none. It matches that of what the lower Premier League is. Them teams in the Championship could compete with them lower Premier League clubs. They really could. Look how difficult many Premier League clubs find it to return back to the Premier League once they've been relegated to the Championship. So for these players, of these youngsters of Man City going into this league and doing very well, doing extremely well, it works wonders for them. So it'll be interesting to see where Bersant ends up, and it's interesting to see where Angus ends up next season. Them are two very interesting ones, because I would like to see more players head out to the lower leagues of English football. We want players to get used to English teams and how they play and get more experience. The best way to do that is basically in England. They'll get used to what the playing conditions are like, and then they stand more of a chance of settling in quicker and easier at Man City. So, for Bersant, fantastic loan spell. For Angus, a fantastic loan spell. Will we see Angus near the Man City team next season? It's a possibility. We probably won't see Bersant near that, but Bersant's done himself a world of good for him now, because obviously he'll end up as a Championship player at least next season, you would think. So it'll be interesting to see if he ends up moving permanently on loan, or what Man City end up doing with him. It's the whole point of these loan reports, though. We're reporting, and what's the future holding for these youngsters? And the last one is the £10 million signing of Douglas Luiz. Now, he joined Man City in the summer. He's a midfielder, and he joined Girona until the end of the season as part of his condition for signing for Manchester City. The Brazil under-20 midfielder, he's made 15 appearances at Girona, which isn't too bad. He's been a rotated player. He appears on the bench quite a bit. So, yeah, he's 19 years old, though, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. He, in my opinion, needs to be a first-team player. You want these loan players to be a success. They need to be playing game after game, and the team that they're playing for needs to suit how they like to play, not being a rotated player, because I'm sure Douglas Luiz has settled into Europe a little bit better now, and he's got some appearances under his belt, but next season, when he gets loaned out, he won't be sold, he'll be loaned out again. I would like to see him playing regular football. Could he be loaned to Breda possibly? That is an extreme possibility in my opinion. Obviously for Girona, they're playing in La Liga. The La Liga standard of quality is a lot higher than what it is in the Eredivisie, and Girona are doing very well in La Liga too, in the top half, I think. So, the quality and standard there, not all players are going to make it. Pablo Maffio, he has done a lot better with his appearance-wise, whereas Douglas Luiz needs more appearances, so a loan for him next season will probably do him a world of good if he can make himself a regular starter. I'm not too sure why Man City have spent £15 million on Marlos Moreno and Douglas Luiz. I'm not too sure if we'll ever see them in a Man City shirt, though. It's very, very strange in my opinion. So let me know what you think of that in the comments below. But that's been the loan report. Hope you all enjoyed the loan report. Don't forget to go and check out my other 3 loan reports on all the other players that have been out on loan at Man City. This is covering all the first teamers and most of the EDS squad. So any other players that have missed out on loan, I do apologise. I'll try and do better next year. But if you did enjoy it, don't forget to slap a like on the video. Don't forget to leave what you think in the comments below of these transfers and loans. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It will mean a lot to press the red button below if you're enjoying all this daily football Man City content, because we've got plenty more to come. So it's been JSGC. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.